My name is Andrew Cunningham. I am Managing Director of GeoPura, and we're based here in the UK. So the hydrogen opportunity is the reason GeoPura exists. GeoPura was actually incorporated as a result of 10 or 11 years research and development into renewable energy storage, and very quickly that led to conclusions that zero emission fuel, hydrogen being a very good example of a zero emission fuel, was really a very good answer to how we store the vast amounts of renewable energy that we need to store. So what hydrogen represents for our business, it's everything we're doing. It's the challenges that we face, it's the investments we're making, it's everything about the business is really hydrogen. Hydrogen itself being a stepping stone to other very useful fuels that we'll be able to use to replace fossil fuels. So I think we all understand that the kind of investment that's required to actually move from fossil fuels to wean ourselves away from these very good servants to us that petrol and diesel have been, and onto cleaner fuels, is going to require a lot of investment. But that also creates jobs. There's research and development that has to be done. There's a whole infrastructure that needs to be created. It does other contributions as well to our economy. There's exports, so there are people around the world that are very interested in this technology. We've already provided services elsewhere in Europe, and we're talking to people in the United States and in the Middle East. However, there are other issues as well. So with renewable fuel, perhaps we can become slightly less dependent on other parts of the world that we're currently dependent on for providing us with fossil fuels. Natural gas doesn't all come from our own shores, and oil certainly doesn't. So the advantage of being able to invest in a clean energy agenda means that the United Kingdom and other countries, of course, can be a little more independent and make perhaps choices based on energy security, as opposed to perhaps necessarily politically motivated choices that result in being dependent on parts of the world that we perhaps don't want to be dependent on. It has to grow exponentially. There has to be growth in this area. So GeoPura is expecting vast growth. GeoPura alone can't do it. This is going to require many companies, and companies of the size of our partner, Siemens Energy, and other multinational companies of that sort are going to have to be involved, because the task ahead of us to wean ourselves off this amazing fuels that we've used, these amazing fuels, but to have an energy system that isn't reliant on fuels that frankly do pollute our atmosphere, do pollute our environment on a horrendous basis, as quite apart from climate change, is going to be really tough. So it's going to require exponential growth. Our use of diesel generators alone, every year we spend £20 billion, this is across the world, on new diesel generators. That's just new diesel generators. So in order to be able to grow to replace diesel fuel generators with, for example, hydrogen fuel generators, requires not just GeoPura, but a number of companies to be able to grow into this area, just to get us back in the right direction, whereby we're using zero emission fuels, cleaning up our environment, and having a future we can look forward to.